Thank you so much, so very, very much. Number one, you will live what you choose. You will live, matter of fact, you will live out what you choose. You will live out what you choose. You will live out what you choose. What do I mean by that? When you come in the house and you drop everything and then you go put something down and then you go check what you're going to cook that day and you do something else, everything you do has a purpose. Everything you do has a effect to it. So because you came in the house and you just dropped your stuff, that's where your stuff will be until you pick it up. The same thing works with everything in your life, your relationship. How you treat it is how it will be. How you live it out. What you find to be important in that moment will be important for the rest of the time. So therefore, when you say, oh, I'm going to work out, or oh, I'm going to say I love you, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do this first, but I'm going to take care of this here, or I'm going to do this here. I'm going to get this right now, and then I'll see about that. That gives it the priority in the order of the priority in your life. So you have to ask yourself, what gets priority? What comes first? What is important? Because if you count it to be as important as you think it is, then you must start to put it at the forefront. You must start to bring it to the first thing and the last thing and the middle thing and put all the other things in between. So if I want a clean house, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do certain things and I won't just drop my stuff. If I want a good relationship, I'm going to speak in the morning. I'm going to work on the situation. I'm going to provide what's necessary. I'm going to handle and make sure I have the right love language and the type of that love language in which I need to have. If I'm going to have good money, I'm going to put this here, I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to check my account. And I'm going to check it consistently so I can see what's happening and what needs to happen and where I'm putting the money and what my plan is. And am I working the plan? Am I working the plan or am I messing up the plan? And if I mess the plan up in one place, how can I fix it so that I don't mess it up consistently? I won't say, oh, I just don't got it, so I just won't pay it. You understand? I have to do these things because how I choose, what I choose is how I live out my life. And if you look at your life now, and you look at the past year, the past 2 years, the past 3 years, what you've chosen to be more important than the other things is why you are where you are. If you were going to do something, if you were going to go somewhere, if you're going to have something, you have to look at it and say, okay, so when I go home tonight, I'm going to reprioritize my life. Some stuff can't come with me for the rest of the year. We're at the half point of the year. Some stuff can't come with me to the next part of my life. Some stuff, it can be second, it can be third, it can be even somewhere 5th, 5th, or 10th, but it can't be in the first 5. And these things I'm going to show importance to what? 7 days a week. Because if I'm going to live it out, I've got to make it more important. I have to visit it more. I have to talk to it more. I have to live it. I have to water it more. And the more I water it and the more I let it get sun, well, ask yourself, what is the water? What is the sun? What is the things what are the things that I put into what I'm doing? That's all you're asking yourself. If you look at it from a plant standpoint, give water, I provide sun. Okay, so what does water and sun look like when it comes to my relationship? What does water and sun look like when it comes to my body? What does water and sun look like when it comes? So I need to look at that. So if I need to exercise, I need to exercise. As I get older, things start hurting more. All right, so I said at a certain point, turning point, I get 50, I'm going to be in their yoga classes. I'm going to be doing all the things. I got to do all the things because I want to be at every age of my life, I want to be at the physical top as far as I can go. I don't want, you throw me the ball, I want to catch it. I want to be able to do those things. But you can't do those things without some cost. Everything, and if you didn't write anything else down, write this down. There is a cost for everything. There is a cost for and the bill comes due. You got to figure it out. You're going to write. Now, here's the thing, and then this comes to, you know what, this is going to flip to the third one, so I'm going to skip to the third one, and then I'm going to come back to the second one, because I'm at the point where it just slides right in. It's just really good. It's really good. So the third part is things move slow until they move fast. Things move slow until they move fast. And the reason I said it transitions well is because the truth of the matter is, if I'm going to do these things to get to where I'm trying to go, I have to actually think about the consistency of what I'm doing. I have to think about how much I really want those things. And we talked about that, right? So as I know that, then I have to say, okay, now I'm gonna work. But likely, it's not working right now. It's moving slow right now. But things move what? Slow until they move what? Fast. And all of a sudden, you're not ready. So move in the time of being slow. In the time that everything is slow and it looks like nothing's going on, that's when you're practicing. That's when you're working. That's when you're laying down the blueprint. That's when you're saying, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. God, are you with me? Proverbs 16:3 says this. If I commit my plans to you, you shall succeed. I'm going to do this, and I put the money away for this, and I put money away for that. And this is my emergency money. And this is the money that I keep in my account so that it doesn't go low. And this is what I put here. And I know it's only $20. I know it's only $10. But if I continue to do that, I only know it's 15 minutes of practice, but if I continue to do that, I know I'm only waking up and I'm saying I'm gonna do 5 push-ups, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna go for a walk, I'm gonna continue to do that. Because if I consistently do that, when the time comes to write the book, when the time comes to have the interview, when the time comes to be at the audition, when the time comes for me to have the money that I need to have, I will be what? Ready. And when someone says, well, you haven't been doing this, oh yes, here's my track record. And okay, so watch this. I have to have a time to save. I have to have a time to study. I have to have a time to practice. I have to have a time to learn. I have to have a time to build. We know that. You're working that, right? But here's the thing. I said to you that the bill comes due. Here's the key. Most people like to pay the bill on the back end. What you're doing every day, when you put the 15 minutes of practice in, when you put the $5 away, when you eat the smoothie that you don't drink, the smoothie you don't want to drink with all the greens and all the vegetables and all the beets and all of this, that, and the other, and you all that, that's paying for it ahead of time. It looks like this. When I know that they say the bill is $2,400 for summer camp, and you say $2,400 here, that's what you just did. Why? Because you're paying for it ahead of time. So what you want to happen on the back end, you have to pay for it on the front end so that you can have on the back end. You can't. So every day you're looking for the six-pack and you're looking for the traps and the chests and all the different things. You can't get those things if you're not paying for it on the front end. And if you stay consistent, then you won't pay attention to the fact that at some point your traps start trapping. Your arms start getting bigger and the shirt fit differently and everything start happening, and you can reach down and grab something without saying, oh, and you can do all these different things. But in the beginning, you was just trying to tie your shoe. You was trying to get close. But then every day you do it. Every day you do the 10 push-ups. Every day you do that slide. Every day you stretching. Every day you getting that knee right. Every day you're doing it. Because if you do it consistently, it becomes a habit. And that's what you have to understand. Is it takes me to my second point, which we went 1, 3, and now we're at 2. Study your problem until your problem no longer exists. Study your problem until your problem no longer exists. People look at their problem, they're angry at their problem, they're frustrated at their problem, they push their problem away. Why? Because it's a problem. I want to deal with the stuff that's not a problem. I don't want to deal with the stuff that's a problem. But if you focus on the problem and you concern yourself about the problem and you study the problem, what do you mean by study the problem? That's the most important thing. Why is the problem the problem? Why do we argue the way we argue? Why is God first in the conversation? Is God first with my money? What do I do with my money when I get my money? Because clearly when I get my money, I'm doing something wrong. Otherwise, I'd have money. So what do? And I know you're not going to stop spending money, but look at your cart on Amazon and say, okay, what's important? And I keep on pushing that into the save it by later, save it later, save it for later, save it later. I only need these 3 things. I only need these 3 things. And do I really need the third? Okay, these 2 things this week, that other one, it can go to next week. You understand what I'm saying? And so now you're still buying, so you still get what you want to an extent, but you have prioritized it. And you said, I don't have enough for this, so I can only have what I need, not what I want. And then I start taking care of what I have. Why? Because I need what I have to last longer. So I treat it nicer so it lasts longer because I only have I don't have the money where I can just, whatever. No, now I look at my clothes and I look at my clothes differently, and I treat my people differently. I treat my stuff differently. And so it takes me to this point, and you ask me, how does this line up with the other one? Understand that the more you build the habit, the less you think about it being a what? Here's the key. Habits are something you don't have to think about doing. So therefore, as long as you have to think about doing it, it's not a habit. So many people like to defend that they do this, they do this, they do this. You don't have to tell anybody you do anything because you don't have to think about it. You do it, and you're like, I did that. Yeah, I did that today. I did that yesterday. I did that yesterday. I do it. You ever see somebody say, I do this? When they mean they do this, it means that it's in them. It's part of them. Every day, they don't have to think about it. They run this situation. They know how to do it left, right. They know how to do it backwards. When you can play a song, you can play the song with your eyes closed. You can play the song not looking at what you're doing. When you can sing, you don't have to worry about the words. There's some things you can do that you don't have to think about. You can come up with a reason or an excuse for everything and anything. All of us have something we can do. The question is, the thing that you want to do, the thing that's going to take you to where you want to go, the problem that's in your way, can you get rid of the problem? I study the problem. I figure out how the problem works. I figure out what's in the way of the problem. I correct the problem. Here's the key. This is the last thing I didn't say about the problem. I learn how to fix the problem without making it bigger. Because sometimes when you're dealing with people and you're dealing with life, you're like, oh, I'm going to save all my money. What? Like, you can't save all of your money. That's just, when the bill comes, you're like, well, no. You have to actually, one of the things that's wrong with different countries and governments, if you don't pay the bill down at some point, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You have to slowly get rid of some stuff. Slowly get rid of some stuff. When you have an argument, slowly change how you say what you say. Because the last time you said it, it didn't work, and the time you said it before that, it didn't work. So how else can I say this? The last time I did it, didn't work. It's like if you're on YouTube and you're trying to learn something by yourself. That guy does not work for me. That woman does not work for me. But you find someone that says it the way you need to what? Hear it. They explain it that works best for you. And when someone explains it way it works best for you, I can say this all day long. And then I'm speaking to Red, and speaking to Zion, and speaking to Red, speaking to Zion, speaking to Red, speaking to Zion. And later on, they'll be like, you know what? My coach said such and such, such. And that's when my head it'd be like burning in my head. It used to. And I was like, what? I said that 17 times. But just because I said it 17 times doesn't mean that they're going to get it, because if someone else said it, they might say it differently. Now, they heard you say it, but sometimes it's who says it, sometimes it's how it's said, when it's said, and where it's said, and what intensity it's said. You have to ask yourself, what is it that you're not getting and how you're not getting it, to make sure that you can get it, because if you don't get it, it's imperative, because if you don't get it, you lose. All that to say, you have to not ignore the problem. You have to work the problem until it's not a problem, and practice what it is that you're working on until it becomes a habit. And it becomes a habit when you no longer think about it, but you do it consistently. And those are the keys.